Hey folks, it's time for TWiP Pro Photo Critique number 164, Cups. This is TWiP. Hey, welcome back to another TWiP Pro Photo Critique. I am your co-critiquer, Frederick Van Johnson, here with my other critic, Mr. Troy Miller, to talk about cups, man. This is a topic that's near and dear to your heart because you are a potter and you make these things relatively often, right? You love cups, and you came up with the topic, right?
I do. Well, yeah, because as I was thinking of a topic, I had a coffee cup in my hand, or a tea mug, as it was. So yeah, so this is great.
Yeah, cool. And there's some good entries in here too. I'm looking forward to seeing and discussing them. What? So we were talking before we started recording. You're hitting the road shortly and may not be available for the next critique, which we will reveal the topic of that critique at the end of this one. But you may or may not be available. So if you are available, folks, Troy may be in the woods somewhere on his phone doing the critique on solar power or something.
Hey, we'll try. Yeah, we'll try. It'll be fun.
Whatever it takes. Where there's a will, there's a way. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. Audio and video may not be quite as good as I get here, but that's okay. We'll give it a shot.
It's all right. It's cinema verite, right? The grunginess, or it could be like Blair Witch. You'll do it from a tent at night in the middle of the woods or something. What was that? What, did you hear that?
People can throw pine cones and stuff at me from the distance.
For sure. All right, man. Well, let's dive in. And do this here critique. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If I can share my screen. There we go. All right. So that is TWiP. Let's go over to the community. Here we go. The first one up is from James Glennie. He says, nothing like a hot cup of caffeine in your favorite hand-thrown mug to start your morning. Not as hot after you take the photos, of course. Yeah. Right. Here we go. Look at this guy.
Yeah, it's
now,
nice.
this, when I first saw this, I instantly thought it was a Troy Miller original. This looks like some cups I have in my cabinet right now.
Yeah. No, that's a cool cup, and I love the little thumb imprint that's in there. That's for your thumb to sit in. So I got pottery tonight, so I may even try to throw some of these. These are pretty cool.
Yeah, do that for sure. Yeah, that's like a good signature, like a literal signature. The potter's thumb made this thumb imprint for you, so it's yours.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love this shot. I mean, I love the composition. I love the fact that I'm getting, that little bit of steam rising off. I'm not sure if the cup is tilting to the right. It feels like it's a little bit off, but that could just be sort of like an optical illusion. The biggest thing for me on this is those reflections. The highlight on the left is not really bad. I think it adds, to the cup, but it's the highlights on the right, those red dots and the white dot. Yeah, those really don't need to be there. And so I would either clone them out or, at the time of photographing them, be aware that they're there and, put up a piece of cardboard or a scrim or something to block that.
Yeah, I agree. What I'd like to see more, I like this shot as well. Just a couple of little things. And I don't see the tilt that you're talking about. I think that like you said, maybe an optical illusion that has to do with this horizon back there not being completely even on both sides. Or the cup here. See this little... The way that you're seeing this, that may be leaning towards the either illusion or the fact that it is tilted. I don't know, but it doesn't bother me either way. The one thing that I would change if I could change anything, and that's the space at the bottom here. I feel like it's just a little bit too close to the bottom edge of the frame. Maybe move it up just a hair. Other than that, that's it. Guys, one more thing. I love the wispy steam coming out of the mug. I'd want to see that just a little bit more. I wish we could see that a little bit more. It was a little bit more evident.
A little backlight on that. Yeah, just a little backlight on that steam would really help a lot.
Help it pop out of there?
Yeah, and then during your initial critique there, I did a screenshot, and the cup is definitely tilting to the right.
Oh,
The
okay.
right lip of the cup is lower than the left lip of the cup. So I don't know about the horizon in the background. The horizon looks right. So I think what happened was, I think James, you probably corrected for the table, but not the cup, and
Mm.
that's the nature of a hand thrown cup. So it's fine. Just be aware, like whatever your intention is, right? Do you want that? But I can see it, so
Hmm. Yeah,
my
yeah, and like
brain
you said,
picked up on
it's
that.
hand thrown, so maybe those imperfections are part of the cup itself. It's actually all
Yeah,
perfect, but the cup is imperfect. So by design,
right. And
right?
and it's fair because if you were selling this product, you would make the table perfectly level, but you would leave the cup at its attitude so that people can get an accurate idea of what they're buying or what they're seeing.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool shot. I love the
But
simplicity of it too, and the warmth, and it's a really good idea, and it's simple, it's simplistic, but it could be part of a larger set of images that then round out to, like these are individually shot portraits of a family, and then a group shot of the family together, right? Like the
yeah,
teapot and all that other stuff.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I just wish I had a size reference. I don't know how
Mm,
big it is. It could
true.
be
Well,
huge.
if that's a thumbprint, you know how big it is.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
that's an adult thumbprint, it's pretty little. It's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
just a
The
little
ones that
tea
I'm
sipping thing. It's like it's bigger than a sake mug, you know, but smaller
yeah,
than
it's
a
bigger than a
bucket.
shot glass.
Yeah, yeah, bigger than a shot glass, smaller than a bucket. Cool.
Yeah,
All
very
right.
good. Yeah,
Thank
cool.
you, James. All right. Next up is Nora Zanatna. She says, "Remember when cups were small and dainty?" Yeah, look at this. This is one of those. This is a pinky out cup. Pinky out
A pinky
mandatory with
out
this.
cup. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, or a little kid's tea party cup with her dolls.
Yeah, yeah. I really like this a lot. I'm really struggling with that bright corner in the lower right hand corner.
Down here.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I understand that that's where some of the light's coming from, and I love the fact that it's lighting up underneath the cup, and I like the fact that you're getting that little bit of rim light, coming up underneath the handle of the cup itself. I love that. Um, I just wish that it was the same tone all the way across, because then the cup itself would have more separation at that point,
Hmm.
you know, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't draw your eye there to kind of that hot spot.
Hmm. And raise the question: why is the light coming from down there? What's happening?
And I mean, you could actually crop it. If you cropped half of the distance between the bottom of the handle and the bottom of the frame,
Hmm.
and a little bit off of the right, you would still keep the highlight and everything there, but you wouldn't have that bright white spot, which is like
Hmm.
paper white down there.
Yeah. Yeah. What about color on this one? We haven't talked a lot about black and white conversions from color images. Do you think this one would benefit from going monochromatic, or it's already kind of there anyway? But what do you think?
I think it would be interesting to play with it and see. Um, I mean, it's a white cup that's
Hmm.
going a little bit gray because the light, there's no light on the body of the cup. I think it would be fun to play with it. I think what this image would benefit from the most is another light source
Mm.
to edge light the outside of the handle. Right, we got this beautiful subtle light, this glow lighting the underneath inside of the handle itself, but
Hmm.
we don't really have anything rim lighting the outside of the handle, the outside edge, to separate it from that black background.
Yeah.
So a little bit off camera left behind, kind of like a kind of hatchet lighting style,
Yeah.
right? Like a
Yep.
little bit off to the left. That would really, and then what would happen is that light would spill through the opening of the handle and strike the mug, and it could, or the cup itself, and it could look really, really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking, now that I looked at James Glennie's shot. Now I want to see wisps of steam coming up out of this at the top there. Yeah, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
I
I
just
like
think
that she's playing with this creative cropping. Right, it doesn't have necessarily have to be the
right.
whole subject in order for us to know, understand what the subject is.
Right, right. And I absolutely love that it's not this, blatant, just a cup there. She's taken the time to really show off the handle. And as a potter, I look at that handle and think like that would drive me crazy trying to make that handle.
Would it really?
Yeah, because handles are tough because you attach them to the cup after they've dried a little bit. So you've got to really work them in there and make them stay, and it can be challenging. And decorative handles are really not my forte. I don't have the patience. So
Mm. And this is ceramic. I'm not a potter, so I have a high level of ignorance when it comes to pottery. But this is ceramic, right? Versus pottery. What's the difference between ceramic and the pots that you throw on a, in a kiln or something?
nothing. So clay turns into ceramics. It's a chemical conversion that actually happens in the kiln when the clay gets to a certain temperature point. It vitrifies and almost turns into liquid. And at that time, the chemical compounds within the clay change and turn into ceramic. So
Oh,
all ceramic started as clay. Yep.
cool. I did.
Yeah.
In the old words of Johnny Carson, I did not know that.
Yeah. That's about the
Very good.
extent of my knowledge. And vitrify is like the most technical term that I know. So
Love it. Look at you using $5 words. Love it.
I know I can't spell it though, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Nora.
yep.
Always a pleasure. Her small and dainty pinky out mug cup. All right. Next up
Yeah,
is Mark Charette. He says, caffeine drip, the drug in a cup that changed the world forever. Yeah, ain't that the truth? It's the drug that's powering this recording right now.
That's
As I demonstrate right here. So cool. So
oh
what do
man.
you think of this one? Let me guess.
I love it.
I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say the foreground drip is soft and the background one is sharper, and you'd prefer the foreground one be sharp and the background one be soft if need be, or they both be sharp. Close.
I struggle. I struggle with such a majority of the image being out of focus.
Mm,
Being soft. I mean, and especially when it's foreground and it's so dominating. So what it really makes me want to crop a lot and get rid of like the upper half of the image. I'm kind of okay with that front pour being out of focus. That's okay. But so much of the image, I think a little bit tighter crop would really help. I like the timing. I like the
hmm
shadows. I like the story, that's happening there. I think that's great. But I would probably crop the top quite a bit more and,
Yeah.
try to
Lose a
go
lot
for
of
a
that.
little more, yeah, a little more
If there's a
abstract.
resolution, if the resolution was there, I'd even see one where it's cropped like even just ridiculously tight, where you only see the drip and the shadow of the drip in there. Because then it's like it's clearly probably coffee, right? That's dripping. It's going into something white, which is probably a mug, but we never see that perspective. Like I zoom in right on this little area here, and I'd love to see just
Right.
that in maybe a vertical crop or something.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is something that just is more abstract in nature and a little bit tighter crop would benefit. Yeah. I
Yeah, yeah,
I don't I don't think the resolution is there based on what I can see in the image,
yeah,
the grain structure, but there's no way really to know.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, because this may be a crop of a larger image, so who knows?
Right, right. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Mark
Very cool.
Charette, thank you. Up next is Craig Stamfley with his always creative captions, coffee cups. He put so much effort into those captions.
Yeah,
Let's see.
would not have thought that at all.
Right, right.
This is fun. This is a really fun image, and it makes me think about all kinds of different ways to crop this to get a different story out of it. Um, if you were to crop it like the top third off, so you didn't actually see the cup and all you saw were those rings,
Mm-hmm.
it would be so cool, so that
Yeah.
you didn't actually see the cup.
Yep. They'd be
Because I,
completely abstract at that point. Yeah.
yeah, I just love the repeating patterns that are happening in there. Aside from that, I mean, I love the shot. I think it's a really fun shot. I think that whoever stacked the cups should have done a better job putting the seams behind them. Um, because who wants to look at a seam? All the logos should be facing forward.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's an OCD rearing its head. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. To be
I
fair.
love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And if you've ever worked in retail or something, you understand that the whole idea of facing things at the end of the night.
Yeah. Yeah. But black and white works perfect for this. It's a nice abstract. I would probably bring the exposure down a little bit. Let the blacks and the cups go even darker.
Mm.
But that's just something I might play with. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
But definitely crop it and then have just those horizontal rings of various
because
sizes.
it'll pull you in and make you think. Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that idea a lot because you could do a lot. You could go horizontal here, right, or even just pull out verticals in here. You could play around with the stripes, turn them diagonally, like crop in tight and turn them slightly diagonal to really throw people off.
Yep. Just do a square crop out of the lower right corner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so much going on in there. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, Mr. Stamfley. Thank you.
Good job with coffee cups.
Yeah. And next up, Raphael has a caption on this one. He says, "One light, one mug from a tethered series with my then new/used Tamron 10 to 24 in April of 2020 when being locked in with your camera had that new COVID smell on it. Shot with this Nikon D5500 with a 24 mil. Look at that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's a really fun shot. And I love the fact that it's a shop light that's hanging in there. I really
But you know that's a shop light because you know what a shop light looks like. And you probably have two or three of them.
I don't have any more of those. I've broken them all. But that's an old school shop light too. That's like got the metal cage on it with the hook.
With the hook.
The long. Yeah. Yeah. I just love that. What a cool light source that is.
So what do you think about this? What do you think about the shot overall?
Well, I love the mug. I love the light, and the light source that's in there. I'm not a big fan of that top right-hand corner being so empty.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that we had some context, right? Like maybe some distant objects, like a workbench, some tools in the background, something like this mug was like on a workbench and that light was there, as opposed to a paper background with just the light hanging there. So, and it doesn't really work cropped. But other than that, I love the light source. I would fix that highlight.
Yeah, the sky. Or on the mug.
That's on the mug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would grab some texture next to it and I would bring that into the highlight. I would still keep it a very bright highlight, but I would put some detail into it so it wasn't completely blown out. So
yeah. I just think I agree with you. The empty space up here, and I like the idea of the moving shop light in there and capturing it. But for people that don't know what a shop light is, I didn't instantly know what it was, and then I kind of grokked. Okay, I understand what that thing is, but I get trapped over here trying to decipher what this moving object is, and takes me away from this beautiful mug with the raven on it, and all that. So I'd maybe crop in so that it's more obvious that, and then it's the whole brightest thing in the scene your eye typically goes to. We know it's not a hard and fast rule, but physics states that you go look at the brightest thing in the shot. So if this was somehow made, this whole area over here was somehow made more subordinate to this guy, I would understand that this is the subject and not that. This is more kinetic and brighter and in motion. Then we have something that's inherently stayed and sitting in one spot. So it feels like they're competing a little bit.
Right. I absolutely agree. And I think that would solve some of what you're suggesting is if this mug existed in an environment that was contextual to the lighting and where you might find it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like a workbench or something. Because I think that, the story you tell yourself, it's more forgiving when you look at it and be like, oh, that's in his garage or in his, wood shop or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this guy, yeah, if you can see in the background, it's sitting on a workbench and there's some old cars being worked on out of focus in the background. Then you'd like,
Yep.
oh, okay. And then with this light moving in the foreground, then the shop light has more of a reason for being
Yeah.
there. And you could tell yourself the story of, oh, he was sipping this mug and he set it down and bumped that light on his way back to,
Yeah.
change change the oil filter or something.
Yeah, I do really love the fact that the light source is in motion. I think that's
Hmm.
very cool, very creative, and there's a lot of good opportunities to create something really fun with that idea. So
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
that's pretty cool.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. So then is that no, one more. Okay, so we got
Just
Eric Pronsky.
two more.
Two
Yeah,
more?
two more.
What's after? Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so Eric Pronsky says, Otto and his cup, image taken yesterday of our new Dachshund puppy born on Valentine's Day, eating some yogurt from his favorite cup. All right, our favorite cup. So, think of
I, I I gotta tell you, man, that right there is a thinking of you greeting card.
that is, yes.
That is so great. And it just, right when that thing came up, it just made me giggle. I just love that. And I didn't actually notice the yogurt that was on his nose because just at first peek, I thought maybe that was just a pattern, right? Like a like
Oh,
a coloring pattern. But now that I made the image full size, I can see that he's got stuff all over and he's eating it and licking it. So that's super cool.
yeah. He's captured an expression that's just, I think we all spend most of our lives trying to get to the feeling that this dog is having right now.
Yeah.
It's pure joy and just, I got everything I need right here. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really wonderful. Really, my only suggestion for this is to put a catch light in the dog's eyes.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have very, very dark eyes, but there's a light source in there somewhere, and I think that putting a catch light in there would really be helpful. There looks like a little bit of a highlight. I would just maybe make that a little bit brighter, and then sort of a pinpoint or a small spot that would look more like a natural highlight,
Yeah.
and it would
Yeah.
really wake up the face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Would you do any work on the nose, like make the nose look a little more shiny and wet?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, I wish that the nose was in focus,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's not, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What a good
Generally,
story.
in pet photography, you want the face in focus, and the nose is part of the face. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but it
Yeah. But
works.
if given the choice, nose or eyes, with someone like
Right?
this, with their nose is sticking out 2 inches from their eyes, go for the eyes.
Yeah. Go for the eyes. Go for the eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Cool shot. I love it.
Yeah. Good job.
All right. And that was Eric. Thanks, Eric. And then we've got Rick Kilboy. He says, Saturday morning reading and coffee. That mug has been my daily driver for 18. You see, you're like me, 18 years. I have stuff on my desk that's been here for like 25 years. I use it every single
Yeah.
day. The patch is the squadron I retired from in 2005. Wow, look at that. Cups or mug submission. Love it.
Yeah. I really, really enjoy this image. And I got to be honest, the first thing I did is try to see what you were reading in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
high
had to,
magnification macro.
yeah. I had to try to figure that out. Um, I love the contextual play with the book and the mug and the notepad. I think that is just so wonderful and it's so relatable. and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, this is one of those that just, yeah, the story is obvious, right? And he pulls you right into the frame, because this could be any one of us sitting there, where
Right.
we're on a macro photography tangent, and we're absorbing everything we need to know about it, or that we think we need to know in order to do with shots. So we're sitting there, got our coffee, got our notepad, going to town. Next step after this is to go make some mistakes and fix them. Right?
Yeah. Just a couple observations, and they're really minor. One, the handle of the mug is intersecting the notepad, and that would have been super easy to fix, as you were setting it up. Give that mug its breathing space. I think it deserves that, and it would look nice. Second of all, we've got a lot of different tones happening in here. So we've got this warm tone on the mug. We've got this cool tone on the book, and then you've got a green tone on the notepad. I would correct those tones to all be the proper shade of warm, so we don't have tones competing. And that's not really super hard to do. Like if you're using Capture One, for example, you can just select a color range and you can shift the hue a little bit. You can do it in Photoshop. I'd probably do it in Lightroom. I wouldn't know. And then just a little bit of dodging and burning to bring the cup out a little bit more. Just a little bit more snap in the contrast in the cup, but not a lot.
What about the cup itself? So there's something inside the mug here. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's just a reflection, I think, that got a little bit of a blur. I would probably clean that up as
Take it
well.
out, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's very minor, but I think that just overall, I think the tone of the image would dramatically improve the mood, and then a little bit of dodging and burning.
All right. Cool. I agree with everything you said. I love this shot a lot. I like the story. I like story in these kinds of shots. And this is definitely a story, and we definitely know who our hero is, the mug, and we know who our supporting characters are, the book and the notepad and the pen. So yeah, very well done. Well done.
Yep, exactly.
And
I'm assuming he's left-handed because of the way the mug is positioned and the notepad's on the left.
Ah, look at that. All right.
But I don't know.
All right. Well, do you have I think we both have a favorite. You want to pick your favorite?
I do. That was actually my favorite.
Yeah.
By a narrow margin, to be fair. There was a lot of them I really liked, but I really loved, Rick, I really love the story you're telling here. And even not knowing that that's your daily mug and that you've had it for that long, even without that, it still tells a story. It still works. So
yeah. Well, he had me at Squadron, so it's all good. No. Hey, Rick, in my squadron, what was the one I was? My initial squadron was the 1369th Audiovisual Squadron, and then at Vandenberg. Do you know this might be controversial, but Troy, do you know what I don't know if they've changed it, but what the Air Force's mission statement is?
I've heard it. I'm trying. I don't recall. I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah. Vandenberg's official is a space base, right? Which is now part of, what's the new Space Force? It went from Space Command, and now they're part of Space Force. But the mission statement when I was in was global superiority through the exploitation of air and space. That was the Air Force's mission. So, aim high, right? Aim high. So yeah, I don't know what it is now. I'm sure this is decades ago. So it may have been tempered down to be a little bit more politically correct. I'm sure they took the superiority thing out of there. But it's it was interesting. Yeah, the global superiority through the exploitation of air and space was the mission. If you own the skies, you own everything. If you own space, you're even better. So Well, cool. So what's up for our next topic? So this was 164 cups. Next is 165, and you picked a topic, and that's going to be recorded on July 26th, folks. By the way, July 26th. So not this next Monday, Monday after that. So Troy Miller, what do you think? What's our topic for the next one?
Texture.
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 Which is everything. Everything has texture, right?
Yeah, and it's really the idea of looking at objects, finding things that have texture in them, and then figuring out a way to light them so that they stand out, whether they're recognizable or abstract. It's an interesting study. It's really fun to do because there's textures everywhere. So
yeah, on even smooth objects, right? Even smooth. If you get in close enough, like even a like a golf ball or something. If you get in close, not a golf ball, but a bowling ball or an egg. Yeah, things that you would think are smooth. My head, everything, right? Troy's even more.
yeah,
There's texture in there.
Yeah.
If you get close, there's texture.
Textures are fun because if you really, when you really start looking, like you can grab, old tools or like an old watch or something, a lighter, and you start to look at it and you see these really fine scratches and wear and tear and things like that. Those are textures that just give that item character, and they're really fun to photograph. They're really fun. So
yeah, this should be interesting. This should be real. I'm expecting a lot of abstract shots, in 2 weeks because there are textures everywhere. I'm interested to see textures of things that we don't know what they are. Like I would imagine a photographer like Joshua we'll see textures of just the compound eyes on an insect or something, right?
Yeah.
Those or a fly's wing, a macro shot of a fly's wing. You just see the kind of different patterns in there. Would be interesting.
And just as a tip, for lighting textures, just like you might want to go out and photograph a mountainside, right? You want light to scrape across the objects for the most part, backlight, side light. You don't want really flat front light for textures because it's just going to fill in everything. You want to create shadows on whatever that object is. So whether it like the surface of an egg or even, minute scratches, you need to scrape the light across it so those things stand out. So
yeah. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Cool. All right. So next time we speak to you, you will not. Well, if you're able to join that next critique, you will definitely not be where you are right now. You'll be somewhere in the country, in the wild, driving around. So cool.
Yep. I was just looking at my itinerary, and we were talking about the Air Force because I'm going to be going to the Air Force Academy in Colorado
Springs. Yeah.
Colorado Springs. Yeah, we're going to go there. We can actually bike around it. So I'm very excited. There's a big area in there we can ride. So I'm going to go photograph it. And,
get some shots. I wonder when the next graduation ceremony is. It would be amazing if you were there when the graduation was happening with the flyover and all that. That would be amazing.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Talk about photography. You saw that. You've seen that shot I did with the flyover of the Thunderbirds over the crowd.
Yeah.
I've ever shown you that? Yeah, that was Air Force Academy.
Air Force graduation, Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
Schedule. May.
Building a shot list now.
It's in May, but we have some members that live pretty close to there. That would be awesome just to be standing outside and watch that.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so choreographed, and it's like, I don't know. It's choreographed patriotism because you're standing out there, especially when I was active duty military and I was a photographer running around, so I had more access than most people. But just to have the Air Force song playing and then right on key, ladies and gentlemen, we present you with the newest commissioned officers in the United States Air Force. And right at that minute, the music swells and the jets come over low and just it's loud and it's just crazy. Everyone's throwing their hats in the air. It is a moment. It is definitely a moment. And, you know,
I can't even
the
imagine
cadets,
how you time that.
well, they do it every time, so they know how to do it.
Crazy.
And, you know, I would imagine the jets obviously are hearing everything that's going on, so they're ready to go. And there was rehearsal as well. So we had to do it the night before, and the jets came over, so we knew what was happening. And that's how I knew, that's the thing goes with research. We were shooting, this was back in the film days, and I was like, okay, I want to be right there in that corner. I want to have this lens, you know, and I knew what was coming. So I'm like all set. I knew where the jets were coming over and I'm just, here they come. Press and hold on continuous high and fill up a roll of film, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
amazing. It was amazing.
That's the way to do it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I will let you go. Happy Monday. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and watching this critique. Congratulations to everyone and thank you to everyone who submitted images this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys do for next week. Some of you folks are experts at texture already, so don't phone it in. Do something outside of your own box, right? Joshua, you already have superpowers. So if you can fly at the speed of light, you got to push it faster. Come on, let's see what you can do.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, this will be good. All right, folks, we will see you next time. Looking forward to seeing what you do. Troy, safe travels. And hopefully you'll be able to join us. If not, you know, we'll either do the critique with a member or I'll go solo, whatever. So, but the show must go on. Hopefully you will be in it, though, because we need your nitpickery. All right, man. Take care, and we'll see you folks next time. This is TWiP.